Hello everyone, welcome to today's podcast channel, Kogi Tech. I'm today's host, Netscape, which is my nickname. Today I will share about my journey at the 2022 Global Youth Trends Forum. If you also attended, then you may have an impression of a podcast guy. Yes, that's me. Let's talk to topic 1. I'll share what I've done in the forum. First of all, I want to talk about the general process in the whole forum. There will be a theme forum in the morning of the 2 days. On the first day, guests such as the founder of Minerva University, Teri, and the Minister of Digital Affairs, Audrey Tang, shared their thoughts and suggestions for future generations. On the second day, the elite seniors who are fighting in the front line of the industry, such as CEO of iKala, Sega, founder of PTT, Du, shared what they have implemented through emerging technologies. In the afternoon, there was a World Cafe, where young people from all over the world discussed and shared their thoughts. For example, on the first day, I participated in the discussion on the topic of imaging digital life. And on the second day, I participated in the discussion on the topic of the future workplace. Next, I will share. So what about me? What did I do in the forum? After listening to the sharing of Teri, the founder of Minerva University, I began to write a letter about myself, my podcast, and an invitation to Teri for an interview. After the morning event, I stopped Teri as she was about to leave and gave her a brief elevator briefing explaining my motives and hand-delivering letters. To my great surprise, in addition to accepting the letter, Teri agreed to my LinkedIn friend invitation in the afternoon and even replied to my message after the forum. After listening to the CEO of iKala, Sega's sharing and QA with him, I've once again demonstrated the ability to design an interview rundown immediately after listening to the lecture, and designed a discussion on iKala and the trend of vertical browsers. Before Sega was about to leave the forum, I stopped him and handed him the rundown and expressed my desire to interview him. I'm so proud that Sega accepted my interview request and even took a photo with me. In addition to meeting the guests who came to the forum to share, I shared on stage several times to express my thoughts on the topics discussed. On the topic of digital life imagination, I share my belief that the sound medium will occupy a very important position in the future generations because it is not imitable and everyone's voice has its own characteristics. At the same time, it also has seen creativity without time and geographical restrictions. The audience can focus on the content they listen to and as if they are in a real scene, which can be effectively used in the metaverse, such as the podcast I'm running now. On the topic of imagining the future of the workplace, I shared that I think the necessary skills are to find existing problems and create non-traditional but innovative solutions. In terms of the future workplace, I put forward the idea of 3 fields. The first one is home, such as software development and maintenance work of engineers, administrative process planning, or internal company meetings can be done at home. The second is companies and factories. In addition to the need for maintenance in the development and production of hardware under the premise of automation and artificial intelligence. With the rise of the cloud industry, each cloud company still needs space to place the servers that drive the operation. And a company can't disappear because it still needs a space to provide project managers who come to help solve problems, sales and BD who come to talk about cooperation. The third is the client side. As mentioned above, The two positions of sales and BD still need to go to the client when discussing cooperation or selling products because many elements are difficult to meet online. And project managers often need to stand on the client's side to help them solve problems. The idea came from a previous visit to Casey, who is currently a project manager at Microsoft. Last but not least, I talk about the two major problems I have observed in current career education as a Taiwanese student. It is difficult to clearly understand the real face of the workplace and what kind of soft and hard skills each position requires. At the same time, I also share the efforts I am working on. That is, I create this channel to build a workplace metaverse of the sound world through podcasts. Next, let's go to the most important part. Topic 2. I will share who I have met and what I have learned from them. The first person that impressed me the most was Grigory from Armenia, who is currently studying at the University of Minerva. I met him at the World Cave in the afternoon of the first day, and we were divided into the same group to discuss the imagination of digital life. Before the 2-day forum ended, we discussed a lot, whether it was sharing each other's college life, insights on foreign topics, or even what food in each country is worth trying. The happiest thing is that Grigory said that before he left Taiwan, he wanted to share some of his experiences and thoughts on my podcast channel, which surprised me. Here, I would like to say to Grigory, if I have the opportunity to travel to Armenia, I must try the food you mentioned, wrapped in grape leaves and eaten together. Antony, who is from Indonesia and is currently coming to NTU for exchange, has a wealth of experience in internship and data science practice even though he is only a senior. I admire him very much. Desti, who is from Indonesia and is currently studying at NTUST like me, mentioned a digital life phenomenon in Indonesia that impressed me in the discussion. Young people are mostly using TikTok, while middle-aged and elderly people are using Facebook in Indonesia. Rany from Egypt hopes that his future life can be far away from all electronic products and the internet. This idea comes from his personal experience in Egypt. As long as you are far away from the city, it is difficult to have a stable power supply, and the use of the internet will be very difficult too. I feel the same way about this phenomenon, because it is difficult for some rural areas in Taiwan to have stable power and network supply. Asma from Tanzania. In addition to taking the stage on behalf of the country to share the current situation and experience she has seen in her home country on the topic of the forum, she shared some thoughts focusing on my podcast during the chat that I am very affirmed. During the period of studying in Taiwan, she also noticed that Taiwanese students are really not so active in their future planning, and believes that the effort I am making will definitely help them. Liang Lu, who is from Taiwan and is currently studying at the graduate school of NTNU. Besides being a student, he also serves as a part-time physics teacher. I agree with him when he shares the problems of education in Taiwan. On campus like high school, if teachers over retirement age do not give the next generation of new teachers a chance, the promotion of free paid education and learning journeys will always be just a slogan. In addition to the friends mentioned above, I also met a lot of young people from Taiwan and abroad, such as Elvira from National Taipei University who once had a foreign boyfriend, Penny from Tankang University who is majoring in multiple languages on campus. But given the length of the episodes, I won't go into detail about the people I met on the forums. Finally, I would like to briefly talk about what I have gained from the forum. The first is that we should seize every opportunity to try and not to be afraid of any failure. Because opportunities come and go quickly, and they will not be waiting for you there. The second is that we need to get to know more friends from different life circles and even from different countries. In addition to breaking our own framework and expanding our own pattern, the continuous accumulation of social capital will help us in the future. Last but not least, when we achieve a certain achievement, we should not be satisfied with it, but constantly improve ourselves. Because the world is very big, people who are better than us will only appear constantly, and we should uphold the idea of continuous efforts to grow. The above is what I saw and heard at the 2022 Global Youth Trends Forum. Thanks for listening.